This is pitched as a dark academia fantasy rivals to lovers where they go to hell. It's going to be very emotional, it's going to be hard to get through, and I'm excited to suffer again. Lesbian Swan Lake retelling. I love when we get to go to hell. Hey y'all, welcome to a new video. I just got back from Cancun like 2 days ago and this feels foreign, okay? I've missed you. I've missed talking in front of this camera. Let's get right into it. I want to talk about my most anticipated books of 2025. And now granted, these are the only ones that I know about. Okay, there are so many more books yet to be announced in this year. Like this year just started. I'm sure by middle of the year, June, I will have a fresh new list of 10 most anticipated books that aren't even on here yet. I'm so excited to talk about books. Let's get into it. The first book that I'm so excited for this year is going to be A Fable for the End of the World by Ava Reid. You guys know I'm an Ava Reid girly through and through. I will read, devour, enjoy everything that she ever writes. This is Ava Reid's dystopian debut and her lesbian debut. What I've gathered this book is about is that there is a kind of a drawing for people and a person will get picked out of the drawing. If they get picked, their family's debt gets paid and they will have to be hunted by someone for sport, for game, for fun, for the rich people to watch, okay? Very Hunger Games, very, very Hunger Games, all right? But like, how can you not draw inspiration from Hunger Games? Hunger Games is the OG. So we have our main character, she gets picked to pay off her parents' debt. She falls in love with, or maybe the woman who is supposed to be hunting her falls in love with her. There are a lot of characters in this book. I believe that there might be like 6 or 7 people who are picked for these games. And so there are a lot of other love interests, love triangles going on in the book. And knowing her, it's going to devastate you. It's going to be very emotional. It's going to be hard to get through. And I'm excited to suffer again. A Fable for the End of the World comes out March 4th. Speaking of the Hunger Games, Suzanne Collins has another Hunger Games book coming out this year. It comes out on March 18th. This one is called Sunrise on the Reaping. This is the story of the second quarter quell, which all Hunger Games heads know is the story of Haymitch's Hunger Games. Okay, Haymitch was Katniss's mentor in the OG series. The quarter quell happens every 25 years and it always has like an extra special twist for the viewers of the Hunger Games. And the twist for the second quarter quell is that twice the amount of people were picked at the reaping. So I believe it's like 1 boy and 1 girl from each district. This time 2 boys and 2 girls were picked from each district. Haymitch gets picked. I don't quite know if his love gets picked or if he just has to leave his love behind, but he definitely loses the love of his life. Like we know that from the original story of the Hunger Games, and it's gonna be another gut punch, okay? I think 2024 is gonna be a very emotional year. The next book I have on my radar is called Eat the Ones You Love. This is by Sarah Maria Griffin. This is set to come out April 22nd. This is an adult horror retelling of The Little Shop of Horrors. It says, a twisted, tangled story about workplace love affairs and plants with a taste for human. This is a story of possession, monstrosity, working retail. It is also about hunger, desire, and the terrible things that grow. I don't know too much about it. It looks pretty cool, okay? I love me a retelling. We all know the story of Little Shop of Horrors, okay? This man has a plant that he grows and takes care of that starts to take over the world, okay? It likes to eat humans. The storyline also has the 2 love interests working retail, which relatable, okay? Okay, the next book that is on my radar is Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, set to come out April 22nd, the same day as Eat the Ones You Love. Okay, I've never read one of her books, but I know the chokehold that she has on y'all. And this premise really spoke to me, so I think it's time I give Emily Henry a chance. This is about 2 writers who are competing for the chance to tell the larger-than-life story of a tragic heiress / tabloid princess. It's giving competition. I heard it was enemies to lovers. Everyone loves Emily Henry's writing, and it's time that I give it a chance with a nice workplace competitive enemies to lovers story. The next book that I am excited for in 2025 is going to be A Treachery of Swans. This is by A.B. Poranek. This is set to come out July 29th. She wrote Where the Dark Stands Still, which was a really good fantasy book. I found it to be a little mid. I think it was just because it was a YA book, so we couldn't get any like nice adult spice in it. But the end, really good. Like the end of her last book, Where the Dark Stood Still, like tragic, but also like beautiful, and I really enjoyed it. I'm going to sell you on A Treachery of Swans in 4 words. Lesbian Swan Lake retelling. Also, look at this cover. I'm definitely a person who shops based on the cover, judges a book on its cover, and I'm judging that this one will be beautiful and really, really great. Oh my god. Okay, this next one is probably my #1 most anticipated. I did not rank this video. Okay, these books are not in rank order. They're actually in release date order, if I remember right. This next one, however, is my #1 most anticipated read, and that is Calabasas from R.F. Kuang, set to come out August 28th. R.F. Kuang is an auto-buy author for me. Okay, I will automatically buy, pre-order anything she ever puts out. I trust it immensely. This is labeled as her first romance, which I'm terrified for. Like, I don't think I can handle reading a real romance from you, bestie. This is pitched as a dark academia fantasy rivals to lovers, where they go to hell. Yeah, that's right, they go to hell in this book. You already know. I'm so excited. I love when we get to go to hell. I love reading other authors' interpretations of what hell is or what hell could mean for their characters. I've heard that this is her most traumatic and emotional book that she's ever wrote, and that's really terrifying to think about based on everything else that she's ever wrote. Please take my money now. Oh my god. Next is a sequel. It is All Hell Chaos from Sarah Reese Brennan, set to come out September 16th. This is the sequel to Long Live Evil, which I literally have on the floor right here. Sequel to this beautiful, wonderful book. I know that shit is gonna hit the fan with the sequel. Okay, the way that the story ended in the first book, don't even get me started, okay? This is the story of a girl who was dying of cancer, and then she was given the magical opportunity to enter her favorite fantasy book, okay? So she's no longer hooked up to a hospital bed. She is now the villain in her favorite fantasy book. The problem is that she got hooked on the books after her sister finished reading her the first book, so she knows the second and the third book and the story really, really well, but she doesn't quite remember the first book, so she has to go about the story trying to remember and figure out what's going to happen next, and to protect herself as well, because she's literally the villain of the story. There are amazing love interests in this book. There are also different couples, like different people that we read about, different POVs. I'm just interested in her POV, I will be honest. The way that the first book ended, such a great cliffhanger, gorgeous cliffhanger, and I'm very, very, very hyped to read the next book in the series. I'm also dying to see the cover, because the cover of this first book, that's what caused me to buy the book. I'd never heard of it. I didn't even really read the back of it. I just read, you know, A Tale for Anyone Who's Ever Fallen for the Villain. It's time for your villain era. I was like, oh, this is about a villain, and like, look at this cover. Like, how am I not gonna pick this up right now? Okay, the next book that I'm excited for in 2025 is going to be This Raging Sea by D. Elizabeth, set to come out September 23rd. The little quip on Goodreads reads, 18-year-old Briar Winters must untangle the horrifying eldritch secrets of her picture-perfect coastal town in order to save the boy she loves after he disappears from time itself in this YA dark fantasy for fans of Bly Manor. The tropes I'm seeing here are found family, we have bisexual main characters, it says equal parts steamy, epic, bisexual romance, and pulse-pounding horror. This Raging Sea is a dual POV dark fantasy as sweepingly powerful as the ocean that threatens to consume everything and everyone Briar has ever loved. Prepare to be devoured. Okay, I'm prepared. I'm prepared to be devoured. I also really like this cover. I hope this is the final cover. Oh my god, the next book. Okay, we don't even have a name for it. We don't even have a name for it. Like, hopefully it is coming out this year. But the next book is going to be the 4th book in this Woven Kingdom series from Tara Mafi. Set to come out in September. That's all we know. Please don't push it back. Please don't push it back. Please don't push it back. I love this series so much. I inhaled the first 3 books in like 1 week, and I will need to reread them before this next book comes out, because it's one of those book series that are so detailed. It seems like the days last as long as Ash Trevino's days last, because the first 3 books literally happen over the course of like 3 days or something, and there's so much that happens in those 3 days. So this series will clearly be like a short time period, but so much is happening within that time period. And there's just, I mean, this series like had me screaming, like literally screaming in my pillow. I loved it so much. There's so much angst. There's so much good longing and pining and yearning in this book, even though like it's only been 3 days since like the events of book 1 happened or whatever. There's just so much within it that the longing and the yearning and the pining, not to mention there's so many love interests in this book. Like each one does so much for our main character. They all want her so bad, and I freaking love it. I freaking love the series. Yeah, it's the greatest love triangle I've ever read because all these men are just down so bad for the FMC, and I'm so obsessed and I'm so excited to keep reading the series. Okay, the final book that I would like to talk about, final book I'm most anticipated for in 2025, is going to be House of Hearts by Skyla Arndt. This is being pitched as Ninth House meets A Study in Drowning. It is a YA romantic horror. I'm just gonna read the synopsis to you here. I've had this on my Goodreads for like 2 years at this point. I followed the author on Instagram, and ever since she's been talking about it, I have had this book on my TBR because it really sold me. So it goes about an elite private boarding school with an insidious underbelly and a teen girl who will do anything to solve her friend's murder on campus, even if the answers end up being more supernatural than she bargained for. It's just set to come out in 2025. Skyla, when is this book coming out? Please update this. Oh, wait. Oh, cool. Okay, so when I wrote my list out, there was no publication date, but now it says expected publication September 9th, 2025. So I'm hyped about that. All right, those were just 10 books that I am excited to read in 2025. There's so many more. Like I have so many 2025 releases on my TBR, and I'm really excited to get through them. I'm excited for the rest of the books that are coming out in this year. I know we have Alchemized. Ava Reed has another book coming out. She's got Study in Dreaming, or Theory in Dreaming, the second book in A Study in Drowning, the sequel. I'm so hyped, and I'm so hyped for the rest of the titles that have yet to be announced that aren't on my radar yet, that I don't know about. I know by June there's going to be so many more on this list, and I will just remake this video, I guess, to talk about the next 10 most anticipated books of 2025 for me. All right, thanks so much for watching this video, guys. If you are a return viewer, I appreciate your support so much. Thank you for clicking on this video. If you are new to this channel, consider subscribing so you don't miss any more book or movie content that I create. If you like this video, give it a like, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!